There we go. Unmuted myself. That probably helps. Cool. All right, it is going. Let's get this part started. Okay, so sorry about that. This is my first time around. I haven't quite gotten used to this yet. My name is Jackhammer13. I'm here with Game Squad account. Y'all know me as Michael, and today we'll be doing a little bit of storyboarding, just sort of casual stream. I got some food with me here, because this is also my dinner time. Lots of different weird things going on today. First things first, though, let me just give you a little bit of an explanation about what's going on here. So in case some of you couldn't tell, we've got right here, in bold is what the name of the song is that I will be storyboarding for this project. I made my friend RD made a mixtape a little while back. Has all these songs. So starting off with Don't Stop Me Now by Queen, What I've Done by Linkin Park, Drive by Incubus, When September Ends, funnily enough, by Green Day, Handlebars by Flowbots, For What It's Worth, whose the name of the author is the artist rather is escaping me. Shadow of the Day by Linkin Park, Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues, Cupid's Chokehold by Gym Class Heroes, Hollywood by a group that is also their name escaping me, Sweet Dreams Are Made of This by Eurythmics, and Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd. Now this whole list was comprised by a few things. Firstly, Drive was basically one of the first songs that RD and I really got to know each other by. We were talking about different musics and stuff like that at a party one time when we basically first met. And one of the things that we both clicked on was Incubus and their music. So Drive is sort of like that connecting thing to all of this. It's the reason why we really became friends over music. And as time went on, that grew into a much more special, fun time. Let me actually go into Discord and the streaming section instead of being an idiot and just sort of doing this solo. Again, very unprofessional, just sort of chill, casual stuff is what I'm going for today. Eventually, I'll work my way up to being much better at this. First time streaming is always a hassle. But while we're waiting for Discord to do its thing, we can go to a few other things. Obviously, Linkin Park, we were both in high school when it was made, this mixtape or whatever. So Linkin Park was sort of just part of the typical music diet. Cupid's Chokehold, of course, the same thing. Now, Wish You Were Here, Nights in White Satin, and Handlebars. All three of those are things, though Handlebars could also be just sort of like a typical music diet. Those songs would be the ones that I sort of influenced on this particular album. I was a Pink Floyd and Moody Blues fan at the time, still am. So he figured, go ahead and get a little bit of that in there. Some of the stuff that I told him I liked that he just either hadn't listened to before then, or I inspired him to listen to, Pink Floyd being the big one. Then he added on Hollywood, and I'm guessing For What It's Worth. He said that there was one or two songs that he added onto the list that were just sort of like, here, I want you to listen to this song, tell me what you think of it, kind of thing. Here we are. I am now in the streaming channel. All is right in the world. So that's basically why most of the songs that are on this list are in said playlist. However, the thing about the playlist that was not originally intended, originally it was just intended as like, hey, I like these songs, you like these songs. I'm going to mix together all the ones that I see fit, that sound good together, and I'm going to make this mixtape for you. He did that with a lot of his friends. But I was listening to it, and around, I think, like the 5th listen through, the song Handlebars really started inspiring this concept, this idea of like, what will I make from this music? Is it just going to be something that I listen to on my car rides when I'm going out somewhere? Or is it going to be something that like could propel an idea or some sort of... Hold on, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Got a sort of important phone call that I had to answer. Now, where were we? Yes. So, Handlebars basically inspired this whole concept of basically the what do you call it? I guess motion picture, maybe. What I want to do at the end of all of this is I have an idea, which I already have the base of, but per song, based on each individual like time signatures, at 2 seconds into this song, this is what the frame's going to be of this story idea that is encompassed by each and every single one of these songs. So, as I said, Handlebars was sort of the big impetus, the big drive for this whole concept, this whole idea that I had. And in particular, there is one line, and I'll be doing this a lot, going back and forth between lyrics to show you guys the simple ideas and stuff that I come up with, and maybe you can come up with ways to turn it into art, turn it into some sort of drawing that can then go from drawing to, stop motion to animation of some sort. But it was this line. I can end the planet in a Holocaust. That really got me thinking. I was like, this song happens to mention like dropping bombs and some really crazy explosions and shit like that. And obviously earlier on in the song there's a bunch of things, I can make money, open up a thrift store, I can make a living off a magazine, I can design an engine 64 miles per gallon of gasoline, so on and so forth. And from there the idea just sort of spiraled and was like, okay, we can go from this idea of being able to just destroy the world in a single blast, a single nuclear weapon, or whatever, be it missiles, I guess, in the case of the lyrics, if we're being technical. And I wanted to see if I could, relate that to other things within the songs. And sure enough, I did. I went back and listened to it after that 5th listen. And basically, here's the idea behind each and every single song that leads to this overarching story. So, the main gist, and we're going to go back to just Times New Roman 12 for this because it's easier to read. I think that's what I also have here. I have 11, whatever the case. I freaking hate when I do that. It's whatever. Times New Roman 12. And the main story is a guy and a girl are having relationship problems. At the same time, a major election is coming up. As time goes on, however, both the relationship and I think I might have actually, no, I have to keep a chokehold. I forgot. It's right here. I do have all the songs. Both the relationship and the government start going to shit. The story follows both as they simultaneously occur. Basic premise right there. And obviously some songs are more built for the guy and the girl and their relationship problems and where they're going in their lives and shit. And then some of the other stuff is fine for the election. Obviously big ones for election, Handlebars, For What It's Worth, as we will come to see later on, Sweet Dreams Are Made of This and Wish You Were Here. Those would be your four main ones for the major election, and then the government and basically society as a whole going to shit. The guy and the girl having relationship problems starts with Don't Stop Me Now. I'll explain more in depth in that in a second, as I will with the rest of these. I'm just going to sort of lay out the basic bare bones aspects of each and every song that I have so far, and we'll work from there. So Don't Stop Me Now is introduction to everything that's about to happen. It shows you the boy and the girl, how their sort of relationship has been going to this point, and then how it starts to sour. Drive is also going to have a lot of the elements of that. One of the big messages throughout this is the idea of isolation and the idea of being alone together or something of that nature. And a lot of the times that happens on the road in this said story. Songs like Drive, Nights in White Satin, and For What It's Worth to some extent, all have this aspect of being in a car, moving somewhere, driving to a specific place. And even Cupid's Chokehold will have at some points people moving around in vehicles. At least by my typical, or original, rather, not typical, my original design. As time goes on, we can rework it. That's the whole point of storyboarding, and bringing this out to you guys. And then there's some that will mix the two together. So what I've done, When September Ends, Shadow of the Day, and then Eurythmic Sweet Dreams Are Made of This and Wish You Were Here. In fact, there's a lot of them actually that will be pretty intertwined, mainly because that's the way that I think will best tell the story, and it will kind of get boring drawing each and every scene for only one particular storyline, if that makes sense. So the whole purpose of this storyboard then is to see what we can see. Look at that. That is beautiful. That is not necessarily what I wanted, but it is beautiful. I don't know what this one means, but that's me being an idiot and just not understanding how things work yet. Now, that I've sort of gone over all of this, if there are any questions, feel free to ask them as time goes by. This will, if I can figure out how to do it, it will be archived on both YouTube and on Twitch for future viewings. We're going to start with the first song, as all good ideas are wont to do. So don't stop me now. We're going to set up the stage. So set the scene with the original boy and girl in a car. Now, we're going to have to go off memory for a little bit, simply because I don't want to get copyright stricken by playing the songs, actually. So I'm going to go off the lyrics. I'll listen to it over time, sort of workshop on my own, and then we can come back to it. What I'm going to do is, for the next time, I'm going to make the entire playlist for this and link it at the very beginning of our session, if you want to call it that. Typically, I'll want to be doing this on Mondays. However, today I felt like streaming, so I took over for Jordan and or Cameron, who would have streamed today otherwise, and they are currently recording. So don't stop me now. Lyrics. And we'll stick with this. So this is your first verse and first chorus. Right here, but it's in blue. So throughout this section right here, this will be the boy and the girl in a car, just sort of driving about, doing their thing. Laughing, gallivanting about, carry on. All that good shit. That'll be verse 1. So then, for chorus 1, we're going to devolve the scene into chaos / anarchy to get the feeling that something has gone wrong. For most of this, I want to be pretty open and forward about what's happening. I don't want it to be nebulous and, you know, have some sort of weird esoteric meaning. I want it to be pretty much by the books. Like, this is happening on the screen. You are understanding that this story is being told between these two characters, and there's not a whole lot of ambiguity going on otherwise. Obviously, there are going to be some artistic representations of the world for numerous reasons. Firstly, when I start actually drawing this stuff, I'm going to likely be terrible. It's going to look terrible. And we'll work on that as time goes on. But even when I get better at it, I'm still going to keep that initial sense of, like, avant-garde style for certain scenes if it fits the overall purpose. This right here is one of those scenes that I'm going to have some sort of avant-garde-esque thing going on, but not to the point of not being able to understand that they are basically breaking up without actually breaking up. That's one of the big things for later on. verse 2, and I hate that that happened. Verse 2. Girl's with another guy. Or boy. Let's stick with the same words so that I don't confuse myself in the process. Girl is with another boy doing basically the same thing. Original boy looks on. In pain / disbelief / denial, I guess, is the word that I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm a rocket ship on my way to Mars on a collision course. I am a satellite. I'm out of control. I'm a sex machine ready to reload like an atom bomb. And that's another thing. The mention of like an atom bomb here also sort of tied into handlebars. I know it's really, a lot of the things were stretches and grasps when it came to the lyrics and everything. But in the end, the story makes a lot of sense in my head. When I write it out and when I put it down on paper, hopefully it'll start to make sense in everybody else's heads as well. And the parts that don't, obviously we can rework so that they will. Now, this is a bridge that I have not yet taken into account. And I might do something with the bridge. So, check for bridge later. So yeah, this is going to be verse 1. This is the bridge 1. Chorus 1, verse 2, bridge 2, chorus 2, bridge 3, chorus 3. So then chorus 2 will be about don't stop me now. Ah, no, see here, this is a breakdown. So breakdown into solo. This time period is going to be boy crying, girl I guess kind of like sleeping around. Like, I'm not sure exactly how to put what I'm going for, but that's the best idea. It's not necessarily, like, she's not having sex with anybody yet, so I guess sleeping around's not quite the term that we want to use. Just sort of like partying and / spending time with other guys. So he's going to be crying and sort of like trying to figure out what to do. So then we go into bridge 2. Where's this bridge 3? This is bridge 3. And Bridge 3 can be... It's going to have to focus more on the guy, because the guy hasn't gotten much, like, actual stuff happening with him. Other than him being sort of like a pansy bitch about the whole situation. And we're trying to make him relatable. We're trying to make him the good guy. And we're not making the girl the bad guy. That's another thing that needs to be... check for bridge. Make girl... Underline this part. Not the bad guy. Guy doing stuff for now is going to have to work. And then final chorus. Girl comes home to original guy, to original boy. Gotta keep using the words. So OB doing stuff. At the breakdown, they confront each other. Argue. She leaves in another guy's car. Another boy's car. So those are the basics for the scenes. Pretty much everything that I wanted to get said and get down. I need to stop doing that because that's just really just weird. However, set the scene with the original boy and girl in a car laughing, carrying on, enjoying themselves and their relationship during verse 1. Tonight I'm going to have myself a real good time, feel alive in the world, and I'll turn it inside out. Yeah, all that good stuff. This is technically in this portion right here. This isn't even verse 1 then. This is the intro. So what we need to do, get that shit out of here, move it back here, and intro, tonight, gonna have myself a real good time. So we're going to pan in to our protagonists. Or our protagonist. I guess these are technically our main protagonists because we will, as time goes on, see that there are some other supporting cast members who are also technically protagonists. We don't really have a true antagonist in this because the people aren't all bad and they're not trying to like ruin the main character's life. They're just flawed individuals doing their own thing. And it just so happens that all of their mistakes come back and fuck with each other. In some way, shape, or form. Getting into a car. And for future reference, artistic, or artsy, I guess is a better, artsy, and foreshadowing. We want that to be foreshadowing in particular, so we're going to italicize that. And sure, why not? Let's give it a different color too. Let's give it like a nice little green. No, green doesn't seem great. Let's do blue. Let's do blue. True blue. So anytime we're going to have something that is important towards the artistic representation of what's going down, it's going to be in blue. And likely we'll also make sure that it's italicized for consistency's sake. So join me for the first song and sort of get an idea of what's happening. So let's drop this down. Make it a window. Come on. Window right, that's not quite what I wanted. I want it to be just here on the side like so. And then you can be on the other side. Like so. Not like that. There we go. So, and then we'll move you off to that portion of the screen. So we begin with tonight. I'm going to have a real good time. If you're alive in the world, I'll turn it out inside out. Yeah, floating around in ecstasy. So don't stop me now. Don't stop me because I'm having a good time. Having a good time. During all of this, we're going to have some artistic shots and some sequences that lead into a pan of our main protagonists. They're likely going to be in a suburb, possibly of LA, so it could be like an Oakland area-ish. Something to that effect. And they're going to be getting into the car. We're going to be looking out over all the things that make up the city and how it works, that kind of thing. Typical beginning of a movie style thing. You're going to have the credits rolling, that kind of stuff. But without the credits, we're not going to have any credits and stuff because each piece is going to stand out individually as well as be part of the overarching storyline. Because I'm going to be making each one individually over time and eventually having the whole thing come together. Sort of like if you make different shorts that you want to eventually be part of a movie, so that they intertwine and they might feel lacking at the end of it, but they still have that substance to be like, okay, that was enough for me to have watched on its own. I don't need everything else, though I want some more from the story. That kind of feel. That's what I'm hoping to go for. Then we shoot into... I'm a shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. I'm a racing car passing by like Lady Godiva. I'm gonna go, 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 there's no stopping me. This whole time, they're gonna be out in the car doing their awesome, crazy, cool things. Just having a fun-ass time. But as we get to... I'm burning through the sky, yeah, 200 degrees, that's what they call me, Mr. Fahrenheit. Probably around right here is when things are just going to start looking weird, and the scenery is going to change. Everything's going to go from this happy-go-lucky, these guys are having a great time in their relationship, to boom. Right around there is when things are just going to devolve into anarchy so much. Or thereabouts. And it will just get worse and worse from there as this is going on. So this will be sort of tongue-in-cheek. Don't stop me now, I'm having such a good time. I kind of want to have this be a spoken line by one of the characters, likely the boy. Because there's got to be a reason for why the girl sort of like goes off on her own and starts cheating on him or what have you. And it can't be something stupid just like, I don't know, they get into one spat. There has to be something big. And I think having this be a spoken line could be important towards that character development, that building of like, okay, this person has done something that has wronged the other person. Therefore, their motives are justified as time goes on. And then I'm having a ball could also be a spoken line from the other character. So this will be them going their separate, them going their separate ways. Up to this point, so we've got one spoken line, another spoken line, them being agitatory. I don't even think that's a word, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like they're going face to face and just like, all right, fine, fuck you. No, fuck you, that kind of thing. And then this here is when they're walking their separate paths. One of them could be yelling at the other. Something like that. This we are zooming in, panning in onto their faces. So this would be one person's face. Probably going to be the girl's. This one would be the guys, and then this will be a shot back to back with both of them walking away, these scowls on their face and shit. And then we'll do a quick jump cut to this, which is a girl being with another boy, doing basically the same thing, having her fun, all that good shit. I think this should be technically part of verse 2, quote unquote, where the boy is looking on in pain, disbelief, denial, all that good stuff. So he's gonna be like burning up. That's why he's burning through the sky. He's gonna sort of be like really fucking mad. But as time goes on, he just sort of realizes like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I miss her. I want her back. I regret all the things I said. That kind of thing. And this here could be said, or not said, but it could be like the introduction of one really important guy. A guy that the girl's going to eventually be with. You know, the one that she leaves off with. So then we've got our breakdown that leads into the solo. And the girl and the guy, the new guy, they're out dancing, spending time together, doing all kinds of fun stuff. And it's sort of like contrasting her with the boy, like trying to figure out, you know, how to get her back, what he did wrong, crying to himself, maybe drinking from a bottle or some shit, that kind of idea. And they'll just be interspersed throughout this, and as the guitar solo is going on. Oh, I'm burning through the sky. This is probably going to be the original boy having come up with a plan, is energizing himself. Interspersed with the girl, not really caring. Showing that she's happy, I guess. Without him, this is probably the best important part there. So then she comes home, probably gonna be like around the la-di-da section. So this will be bled into, I guess. So like this section right here will bleed into I don't want to stop at all. La da 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 da. Da, 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 like that whole section there. They're confronting each other, arguing. Things start to simmer down a bit as the song comes to its close. She leaves, packs her bags, all that kind of thing, and she's in the other boy's car. Boom. A little bit of an intermission, a little bit of a break from that point. Then we go into what I've done. Obviously, the song's going to be about the boy, you know, just sort of being distraught. Not much more to that. Unless, let me check the lyrics though, because I might be introducing another character and another subplot into this section here. And okay, so we will actually be introducing another character into the fray. So we've got the boy being distraught, and we're going to have a campaign manager fighting over his demons. He is one of the supporting characters of the cast that I mentioned before. Not really anything big, just sort of there. But his campaign is going to be for a character that's pretty important for handlebars. So we'll get to that when we get to handlebars. Not really going to go through this whole process with that song just yet. I think I'm probably just going to stick with Don't Stop Me Now as is, like this, and everything else is going to be sort of like this, like a synopsis of what's going to happen, because I'm probably going to be cutting the stream a little bit shorter than I originally intended. I might do like a few 20 minutes, something like that, talk with you guys portion, if any of you guys want to talk. I can answer a few questions, go over a few other details with you, that kind of thing. But there's really not much else. Not much else to say on that front. So what I've done is done. And now we can go to Drive by Incubus. And we'll have this. So now the girl's having second thoughts. Shoot. Alright, no, we're fine. The girl's having second thoughts, but is relatively still happy. The other guy is getting frisky. The other boy is getting frisky. But she's sort of depressed-ish, I guess. And just haven't done it. And that's pretty much that song in a nutshell. So sometimes I feel the fear of uncertainty staying clear, and I can't help but ask myself how much I'll let the fear take the wheel and steer, shifting me forward, and seems to have a vague haunting mass appeal. Let I begin to defy that I should be the one behind the wheel. So this is basically that portion of it. Her, you know, being sort of unhealthy, not really unhappy, not unhealthy. Not really knowing what to do about it all. And this can be them just sort of this is going to be them getting involved in activism. They get involved in activism. And she's much happier with the relationship. And then would you choose water over wine, hold, wheel, and drive? We're going to bookmark that. Hold the wheel and drive. Leads into a kiss that seals the relationship as solid, I guess. They happily continue along for the rest of the song. Basics. Basics. That's what we're working on right now. So then when September ends, September has just recently ended. So in case you didn't realize that, there you go. When September ends, the lyrics. Nope, that's not even close to what I wanted. Thank you. Or wake me up when September ends, whatever the fuck. This is campaign manager is advising his candidate who is a black man on the future of his campaign, I guess. His depression from his job is eating away at him. Those are pretty big, important concepts. So, got to make sure that we got those down pat. Because this whole song is pretty much about, like, loss and longing and, you know, feeling really shitty about some things that happened. And not really knowing how to deal with them. That whole malaise that we felt as a nation for a little bit after 9/11 first struck. I mean, might as well have some 9/11 imagery as well. but toned down to not overshadow the overarching story. This is probably going to be one of the heaviest parts of the entire thing. Obviously, I mean, there's one much more important heavy part that will happen later. But then we have handlebars. Handlebars being like the big main storyline thing. Everything's set in motion from this. So we're going to have handlebars lyrics. So, whoops. Gotta go here. So it begins with a typical just sort of pan, I guess, typical thing. Not really a pan. Pan's not the right word, but typical like zoom in on a major event in a city. Primary day. Verse 1 is the disconnecting and reconnecting. That's always fun. Hopefully that's not happening to the stream. Hopefully the stream is still connected. Let's get that out of here. It's cluttering the screen. Oh, god damn it, not what I really wanted. Just sort of wanted to minimize it. I'm a dum-dum. Yeah, Restream decided to go offline. We are back? Question mark? Looks like we're back. Cool. Don't really know what happened there. Moving onwards. I guess my internet's just being a dumb. So, and then verse 2. Oh, sorry, this ends around, no, it ends at the first telephone. Black candidate 1. Get ready for the next round. Verse 2 is between the incumbent and the black candidate. So, I can make money, open up a thrift store, I can make a living off a magazine, I can design an engine 64 miles to the gallon of gasoline, I can make new antibiotics, I can make computers survive aquatic conditions, I know how to run a business, and I can make you want to buy a product. Sort of like a back and forth tit for tat. Same thing happened with here. I can show you how to dozy-do, I can show you how to scratch a record, I can take apart the remote control, and I can almost put it back together. I can tie a knot in a cherry stem, I can tell you about leaf lyrics, and I know all the words to De Colores, and I'm proud to be an American. Me and my friend saw a platypus, me and my friend made a comic book, and guess how long it took? I can't do anything that I want, cause look, I can keep rhythm with no metronome. No metronome. Sorry, I went on a tangent there. But basically, you get the point that I'm going. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Easy stuff. Characters are doing pretty much all the talking from these songs' lyrics. It's not anything revolutionary. Verse 3, the election has been decided. But both candidates are being friendly with each other. They have now become one group, I guess say. Basically one party. Things go off the rails. And the country looks on at what they created. As the song plays out, I can ride my bike. The funny thing about this portion here is it is very topical for the current electoral system, or not electoral system, sorry, the current political landscape. I got this back in 2015, thereabouts, so when we first began listening to it. And it wasn't really until 2016 that I came up with this whole idea for everything. But around that point in time, Donald Trump had already won the presidency. And people were talking about Kanye West 2020, mainly as a joke, I think, but I think that there was some sincerity to it at the same time. And this song in particular just sort of gave me that idea of, like, you know, what if we have Kanye run for the Democratic side? Obviously, Trump would run for the Republican side as the incumbent. But instead of it being, you know, one ideologue versus another ideologue, and everybody's just, you know, gnashing each other's throats, trying to, like, rip out the other person's jugular so that they could win the election. What if we represented it a little bit more like how most pundits actually see the behind-the-scenes stuff? Not the people that are telling you, like, what's happening on TV, but the people who are engrossed in the actual, like, meat and potatoes of everything that's happening within politics. And a lot of the times what you'll hear is that there is only really one party. Most of the time, you know, the Democrats and the Republicans, they'll find some sort of compromise or some sort of agreement on a lot of major items. The big ones being, of course, appropriations for war. Most of the time, the Democrats will vote with the Republicans and vice versa. Most of the time. And when it comes to tax cuts, typically the rich benefit mostly from those. However, at the same time, the Democrats will look at it and say, okay, there are some that are here for, you know, the middle class and the lower class. And the Republicans will spin it as, like, we're also going for these as well. That's the kind of cool thing that I came up with, and now we sort of have this whole, like, Kanye and Trump being friends, and it's sort of just playing out in reality, and it makes me sort of look like I'm copying what actually happened. It sort of feels bad, but that's sort of like the idea that I was going with from this. And because, of course, we have to make it dystopic and crazy, because that's just sort of how Handlebars goes, you know, that's why they become friends, and they start working towards this main goal of just being like, I have so much power, like, so much power, kind of thing. Anyway, that then brings us back to our main storyline between the boy and the girl. Girl protests the elections. Campaign manager, and I need to look at the lyrics just to make sure that he has a spot within this song. I know he has one in the Shot of the Day. It's actually pretty dark and graphic, for being quite real before things go on. Buffalo Springfield, by the way, is the name of the group that sang that song. So obviously everything, nobody's right if everybody's wrong. You know, people speaking their minds, getting so much resistance from behind. Campaign manager is trying to sort shit out behind the scenes. D's and R's are as divisive as ever. But behind everything, CM knows that the story's not the same. Girl is part of civil disobedience. Eventually becomes violent because of BF and CM is now at wit's end. Then we come into Shadow of the Day. And first verse, or verse 1 as I've been calling it. Verse 1 is CM being overtaken by his depression and what he's created, basically. He has no control anymore and really can't do anything. OG, or the original boy, is also feeling this way. And verse 2 is his big thing. Back and forth. So you got verse 1 being CM, verse 2 being OB. So then the first ending line is CM committing suicide, demonetized. But the second ending is OB being unable to. And he sits in silence. Knights in white satin. Girl has sex scene. Boom. Pretty much the majority of that. I don't need to look at the lyrics for that. Cupid's chokehold. This is... I should probably undo that so that we can get back to this. OB slightly trying to regain composure. Or not regain composure, but like regain a sense of control over his life. Tries to find other people. Can't really do it. Girl is going around happy with her BF. And then OB eventually realizes he needs her. He sounds like a whiny prick, and I mean, that's kind of what I was going for. He's not supposed to be a great, upstanding gentleman. He's just sort of be like, I need to be in this one relationship because this one person treated me the way that I wanted to be treated, and now because I fucked everything up, I don't have them anymore. Like that kind of thing. Hollywood. Not the one. I think it's by Kodak. It's not by Kodak. It's by Group Love? Nah. Because you're Hollywood. You never should. RAC. Hollywood by RAC. Lyrics. Boom. Figured it out. This one is OB looking for OG. OG just sort of doing her thing. OB finds OG. But she's long gone and doesn't really care about him. She's changed as a person. He hasn't. Then an air raid siren at the end. That was Zach leaving for school, if anybody heard it. Sweet dreams are made of this. Bombs are dropping. And shit's crazy. OG dies. OB lives. World is fucked. OB walks around the wastelands. Basically insane from the loss. Can never move on. So he roams. Now, a lot of what has transpired in the past few songs seems sort of out of nowhere, and we need to remedy that. And I need to remember what I had originally planned to remedy that, because it would have worked pretty decently. I think during Nights in White Satin, I also had the presidents began doing their own thing. No, it wasn't during them. Ah, yes. So during Hollywood, I'm so sick. Blah, blah, blah. Presidents are completely insane, I guess. And have a huge fight with a major ally. Send bombs or missiles or bombs and missiles or whatever. So like, you kill the sun, I'm not your friend anymore. I guess works for that. Who frickin' knows? It's really weird, man. I don't know. I'm having difficulty sort of piecing everything back together because it's been a while since I thought of everything. All I know is that I wanted to start the songs. I wanted to start it off by having our main characters, the boy and the girl, you know, have their relationship on the brink. By the time we get to Handlebars, we've introduced the societal things that have happened as time goes on. And then Wish You Were Here is the original guy just being forlorn and missing the girl. It's going much darker than I originally had remembered, but I like the idea of him being insane and him just not being able to get over the loss. I feel like that's much more my style of writing, and I think I could probably do a better job later on with the full storyboard when I get around to it. But until then, I think that's going to be everything for this portion of storyboarding. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate that. We're going to switch over to just this main screen right here, the Game Squad. All four of the boys. All that good shit. That way I can close this and look at the analytics and shit. Look at what I might have missed. I need to figure out what this one is, though. That's what's really bothering me. Gotcha. Cool. Well, I think we're gonna head out then. It's good being able to chat with y'all. Give you guys my storyboard idea. I see that coming up on 5:30, so I'm gonna just go ahead and cut the stream a little bit short. Like I said, just sort of wanted to get that out there, get a little bit of a talk, some sort of interaction. But we have pretty much exhausted all of the things that I wanted to do for that, so looks like we can just head out then. Thank you very much for joining me. My name is the Jackcupid13 here with Game Squad, also known as Michael, whichever you prefer to call me by. I'm probably going to be doing this kind of thing on Mondays for the Monday stream. The boys will likely hold me to that now. But yeah, if that happens, then we're going to change eventually the streaming schedule thing. So instead of it being, I think it's at 7 right now on Mondays, we'll change it to being probably a bit earlier. I don't quite know just yet, but we'll burn that bridge once we've crossed it. That kind of thing. Anyway, catch you guys on the next one.